Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Matt's coming. No. When do we start?
Welcome back to the show. Happy 99 episodes.
Hey, you know what? I got 99 episodes, and this is one.
I did that.
Well, see, you did that on your 99th episode. Now it's my 99th episode. Great. I can do that.
So unoriginal, to say the least.
You know,
stealing from a rap god.
I'm glad that because that's not Eminem. I'm glad that last week's show, A, was popular and well received, but B, ace editor
me,
Ziggy Bowen, cut out some terse stuff that was laid down by you last week.
So happy I cut that. Yeah.
I'm glad you showed some restraint. Every time you make a joke that you think is funny, you sometimes push the envelope a little bit.
Easy does it.
I'm not saying I don't push the envelope, but I'm glad that the Jar Jar joke was...
I mean, you don't. To be honest, we have a lot to cover this week.
Do we really?
There's so much news.
Wow.
There's a ton of news.
Does it start with the Jared Sports Report?
No, I think we should...
Oh.
So, structure-wise, I think we should do regular news first, and then that, and then get into our main topic, because if you're here for the comic stuff, I don't want to put you off with the sports stuff.
Oh. I'm not off-putting, though, am I?
I have no idea. This is just my thought, so I want to do news and then sports reports.
I think I'm the best part of the show.
You're some of the show, certainly.
At least 51%.
Too many percents. Let's just get into the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Hours after we recorded our show last week, Marvel has announced, let's throw this in air quotes, a fresh start. Meaning that they're going to be doing a renumbering and a reshuffling, and a lot of people freaked the hell out.
Including you, because you were still drunk.
No, it was just like, why are you doing a big thing right after we finish? So the Marvel fresh start, a lot of people were freaking out, like, Marvel's rebooting again, it's the end of the world.
No, it's a new beginning.
The reality is, as we've talked about it, Marvel just got a new editor-in-chief a couple of months ago. A reshuffling was bound to happen. The guy wasn't going to come and be like, here I am, status quo.
How is that any different than the new 52? Explain that.
Because Marvel has done a soft reboot about 7 times in the last 7 years.
Oh, so it's like a real thing?
But I have trouble giving any blame or kind of vitriol to this one just because it's a new guy in charge. So, of course, there is going to be some kind of shakeup. What do you expect? But that's not a lot of what the internet's reaction was.
So, like, the internet like, oh no, oh my god, there's going to be, like,
it was
they're going to end all my stories that I'm reading now.
It was more of, they're doing it again. And very recently, since we've been doing the show, Marvel did renumbering, what they were calling legacy numbering, of going back to, like, hey, we remember our history. If you've had, 800 issues of this book, we're going to say that you had 800 issues of this book. If you had 150, you've had 150. It's not based on whatever random reboot there was. Now they're like, yeah, it's number 1 again. But they're also going to be sneaking in the old numbering as well, so, they're only half committing to it.
It seems like it's just very convoluted and confusing over time.
People reacted more than they should have. It's not a reboot. It's a restructuring, and quite frankly, all of the news that's come out of it, there's one piece that I haven't liked, but most of it has been really good news. So, some of the news that has come out of this, Jason Aaron and artist Ed McGuinness, who I'm told is a guy who lives in Maine, but I can't confirm that, will be taking over Avengers. Jason Aaron is currently my favorite guy working at Marvel. He's been doing Thor for like the last 6 years, and he did Star Wars for a while, and he's the best writer they have over there. He's taking over Avengers, and Avengers has been kind of meh for a while. So if you got your best writer taking over Avengers, do that. And Ed McGuinness is a legend as well, who may or may not live in Maine.
You need to get research on this.
I am not confirming or denying. I've been told that. I don't know if I believe it. One of the other books announced is going to be Donny Cates writing Venom. Venom has also been a book that has been seriously suffering, not very good. I've been reading it, haven't really been enjoying it, but Donny Cates is, I say Jason Aaron is their best writer. I would put Donny Cates as their second best writer. We've done Donny Cates before. He did Redneck.
Oh, okay. Yes, the vampire.
Yeah,
the vampire hillbilly.
Solid.
Yeah,
he is a solid writer. He put out an issue that's coming out this week. That's one of my favorite things that I've read in the past year. But I mean, he's going to be on Venom. Avengers 1 million BC is going to be back. It was kind of questionable if that was going to be a thing. You're going to have like Odin carrying Mjolnir, Ghost Rider riding a mammoth, the Phoenix being the Phoenix, and a few other odds and ends. That's going to be a thing.
Point of order. I'm all about Ghost Rider riding a prehistoric animal.
A mammoth.
Yeah, a mammoth is covered in hair, and he's on fire. There's some problems here.
Mystical fire.
Okay, but fire is fire.
Mystical?
I don't care that it's mystical. He's on a furry beast. Couldn't you come up with something better than a mammoth for him to ride?
Are you insane? That's so metal.
I get it, but I also don't get it because the mammoth in its very nature is flammable.
You're so wrong about this.
No, I'm very right that the mammoth is probably flammable. Okay, so let's do an experiment. I'm going to bring a lighter down here and put it near your hair. What do you think's going to happen?
I'm going to set you on fire.
No, actually, I'd be setting you on fire. You're wrong.
Speaking of Jason Aaron, who will be doing this Avengers 1 million BC, Thor will be going back to number 1 following the death of Jane Foster, and, original recipe Thor will be taking over the series again.
But no Jane Foster.
She's going to die of cancer.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, she's been around for a number of years. It's been a great run. Like, legendary. Like, my second favorite Thor run of all time.
This might be a little off topic, but you know what I've never had that I contemplated on having over the weekend?
Thor's Day?
No. Bananas Foster.
Don't do that.
Don't?
Moving on.
Do you know what Bananas Foster is?
Yeah.
Is it good?
No.
Okay, thank you for saving me the problems.
Gross.
I do love bananas, though.
Speaking of things from Marvel's fresh start, and Donny Cates, guy who's going to be doing Venom and doing Doctor Strange currently, and Thanos currently, there's going to be a Cosmic Ghost Rider solo mini coming out. That character has blown up if you have any of the early issues of the Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Is he riding a mammoth?
No, he's just riding a motorcycle in space.
See, that makes more sense.
Your sense of logic is flawed and off.
Okay, if I'm Ghost Rider and I have mystical fire, that'd be cool in space. Mystical fire on a mammoth? I'm practical. I'm being practical about this. Hair is flammable.
Weird standards. But yeah, there's going to be a Cosmic Ghost Rider mini. This character has been amazing. If you know who it is, it's even funnier. It's all just good stuff. So, yay, Cosmic Ghost Rider. There's going to be a lot of more Marvel announcements for books coming in the near future with their fresh start. Don't freak out. It's not a reboot. It's just a restructuring. And most of the news is good. Greg Pak isn't going to be on Hulk anymore. That's the only thing that I don't like so far. Because he's my favorite Hulk writer. But, he's had his time on the book multiple times. So, hey, I guess I can't complain too much. Speaking of Greg Pak's Hulk run.
Yes.
I found a segue. Didn't know it was there, but I found it.
Good job. This well-produced, well-laid-out show.
Amadeus Cho, the current Hulk, 7th smartest person in the Marvel Universe, or he was. Hopefully he's still 7th. He is the current Hulk, and he is either going to be coming to his end as the character, or he might die.
Who's the smartest person in the Marvel Universe?
I think it's Moon Girl?
Not Reed Richards?
Nah, he's in top 10.
Oh, he's not the valedictorian?
No, he's up there, though. I forget where he lands.
Who, is this like a Marvel ranking, or is this like something that you've just decided?
No, Marvel has official, numbering of who are the smartest people.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Moon Girl. I think Moon Girl's number 1. Reed is, let's say between 5 and 7. You don't need to.
I'm going to fact check the show.
Okay.
Just for my own personal knowledge, so I can be smarter for my 100th episode.
But yeah, Amadeus, you're not there yet. Amadeus Cho might be dying, which would be too bad. He's been around since about 2007-ish, right before World War Hulk. Sad Marvel news. This is big stuff. Say you take your famous sports team. Give me 3 big sports stars.
Right now?
Yeah, on the same team.
On the same
3
team?
big sports stars on the same team.
All right, we'll go. It's easy. We'll do the Patriots. You can say Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman.
They're all leaving.
That would be pretty devastating for the
Yeah, that's
Patriots.
what's happening at Marvel right now.
But what's kind of interesting is one of them may be done, and one's recovered from an ACL injury, and one's 40 years old.
Yeah, this is what Marvel had this week. 3 artists are leaving. They're out of their contracts. They had exclusive contracts at Marvel. Chris Samney, Gabriel Walta, and Russell Dodderman are all leaving Marvel. These are superstar artists. Whatever metaphor you gave for sports, those are those guys.
Wow.
Yeah. These aren't small names. And the fact that it all happened within 1 week of just their contracts running up, it was gee. Not that Marvel has bad artists, but these guys are superstar names.
Amadeus Cho is number 9.
He's number 9
He's
now?
the 9th smartest.
That was number 7. Okay, whatever.
Well, this was a year ago, so Moon Girl was number 1.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So he used to be number 7, now he's number 9.
Maybe he's gone up, because this is
10 years ago he was number 7.
Oh, no, he's He's fallen down a little bit. Moon Girl holding top, holding serve.
I do miss Moon Boy.
You know who is number 10?
No.
Black Panther.
Buy it.
Reed is second, Tony third, Bruce fourth, and Valeria Richards.
Close on the pronunciation.
Valeria?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay, well, whatever. I don't know. She's smart, apparently.
Yeah, so Marvel is going to be losing a ton of artistic talent, which is kind of scary for them. More comic news, let's talk the ending of things. The ending of things that, for me, are kind of biggies. One of them in a positive and one of them in a hopefully positive. We've talked many a time about the Ninja Turtles in the show.
Just a couple.
We've talked about volumes 1, 2, and 4. What we haven't talked about is volume 3, because volume 3 is kind of considered non-canon. The property was sold to Image Comics, and then it was unceremoniously kind of ended based on poor sales. I want to say issue 24, I might be wrong there. Let's say 24. Not a terrible series by any stretch of the imagination. Its greatest flaw, you could say, it's very 90s. But it's not bad by any stretch. It was announced this week that that series is going to get entirely reprinted and giving a whole new proper ending. Stop looking around. There's none of it on the walls.
Okay, I was trying to figure out which was which.
We haven't talked about Volume 3 at all.
Oh.
But it's going to get a proper ending, which, it's not within the main series, but you could call it kind of a divergent timeline, where Raphael gets half of his face blown off and becomes the Shredder, Leonardo loses a hand, Donatello dies, becomes an android, Michelangelo's fine. So far, because now we're going to get a few more issues.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Well, there's, we talked to Jim last week. He talked about them doing big things.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He played that one close to the vest, didn't he?
But yeah, Turtles Volume 3 is going to get a proper ending in a reprinting, which is, I knew about the reprint a while ago. I talked to the artist. There's stuff that I know that I don't feel like is my job or position to break, so I don't.
Interesting.
Well, it's true. It's not my place.
No, it isn't your place.
If someone tells me a thing, I could be like, guess what? Exclusive the internet.
We could bump our numbers up.
I've known about the reprints for a while, but it wasn't my place to say it.
Oh, you could have had the scoop.
I did have the scoop. I'm not that guy. I'm not like, I learned a thing. But that's kind of cool that they're going to be doing that. So that is a positive ending. A sad ending, which I will be dealing far more in depth in a different podcast.
Oh, a new podcast?
No, a different podcast.
Oh, that we're doing?
No, that I do. I do one other show.
Oh, it's on the Buffy back issue.
Yes, you got there. It took a while.
Well, you were talking about the Turtles.
Buffy is ending. Officially, finally. Season 12 will be the final season. After 11 years of additional storytelling canonically within comics, the show will be ending yet again. 2003 all over again.
Are you sad?
Yeah, but I'm not. If you listen to the show, I have a retrospective coming out either this week or next week, depending if you're a Patreon subscriber, where I talk about the thing that I think it needs the most is to end properly. And yeah, it is officially ending.
Are you done recording the shows?
For the moment, there's stuff coming up.
New big things?
No, there's probably like 10 episodes left, realistically.
Well, this is the end of February, and you still haven't made your big February announcement.
I know, I haven't. Because give me a little while.
I gave you a little while.
I'm a little behind my own personal schedule.
In December.
I'm doing other projects. I'm trying to just wrap everything up so I can do it. But yeah, Buffy is ending at season 12, starting in June, and that's weird. That is weird for me. I've been in that world for like 2 decades, and it's done again for the second time.
All good things must come to an end, Zachary.
I'm glad it is, ultimately. Dumb news.
Yes, please.
Every month, there is a preview magazine that comes out. You can find out about all the books that you're interested in. You just flip through that preview magazine. It's like $3.95. You check it out. And then there's 2 jackass companies, Marvel and Image, who release their own books. Marvel now says that their book is, I'm going to throw this in quotes, free. Free for you, not free for me. And now DC Comics is also going to be publishing their own previews catalog. And how about you all just suck it up and do it under one and don't charge me extra money, you sons of bitches.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little life advice here, Zach. I'm going to help you with your networking and marketing, okay? You get more flies with honey than you do with poop.
Then a Marvel one, and an Image one, and now a DC one. So 4 books of previews, taking up space, wasted my cash, wasted my shipping expenses. How about you all just go under one roof, you sons of bitches?
There's no getting through to you. We're moving on.
Okay, I'm not happy about that.
I couldn't tell. You seemed like you were lukewarm at best.
Going from there to, let's talk about money, honey.
Ooh, ka-ching.
Marvel has crossed the $14 billion mark in their movies since 2008.
The $4 billion?
14.
14?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, Disney paid like $4.
That's good return on
They've
investment.
made it back.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Marvel this week officially crossed the $14 billion mark as a whole. Insane. Highest grossing franchise of all time.
Okay, but that's what they've made. What's the net, though?
Billions.
Like, probably like 10 billion net. Well, I wonder how much they've put out in costs, startup costs. I mean, they've made billions of dollars. They've netted that, but still.
Speaking of making money, this is insane. I never would have predicted this in a million years. Black Panther is on track to be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time.
I'd believe it.
They're going to potentially crack Avengers money. Avengers is number one right now. Black Panther is on track to beat it.
Wow. The first Avengers?
Yeah. That's, I guess, if you want to represent an unserved population, that's what happens.
I think there's more. Don't sell the movie short on just being...
I'm not selling the movie short, but I think representation plays a big role.
Oh, yeah. I think that's huge.
You get people who have been perpetually, either the B-plot or generally unserved, and then you put them in the forefront, and then you get the rest of the world who's just going to see a Marvel movie no matter what.
Yeah.
And you get yourself... a perfect storm of money.
It was so good, though. It was a good movie.
It is a good movie. I'm not diminishing that. But I think there's a lot to be said of, if you reach out to an unserved population, people are going to come and see it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, Black Panther could potentially be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time, at least for a couple of months until Infinity War comes out when we all go out.
We're all going, let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies.
I've just been expecting Infinity War to be the top grossing Marvel movie. If Black Panther beats it, that would be astounding.
Let's all go to the movies. What's the last line? And have ourselves a treat.
Yeah, that is the end of it.
With a little dancing popcorn. Let's all go to the kitchen.
You know what? Let's do 2 more kind of downer stories. Then we'll finish with a strong one. Joss Whedon.
Oh, yes.
He is off of Batgirl. To the surprise of...
No one?
Yeah, literally no one.
Do you think he ever makes another major motion picture again?
100%, yeah.
Do you think he ever makes another major motion picture where there's no scrutiny about his alleged past transgressions?
I think some time needs to pass.
Do you think that's why he's off Batgirl?
100%. He came out with a statement this week basically saying everyone at DC was very collaborative, but ultimately I couldn't crack the story. Is there a sexier word for failed? I think he was graciously asked to leave. If I had to...
Wait, did he say, is there a sexier word than failed?
Yeah.
That was in his quote?
Yes.
Probably not the right use of words for him right now.
Yeah, I am going to say that he was probably asked to step down for multiple reasons.
We're going to let you resign to save face.
Yeah, basically.
We're going to do you a solid, even though we don't owe you anything.
Between massive infidelity against his wife, also pressed now with more emphasis on representation, also with the Me Too movement, he does not seem like the right guy to be helming a female-led superhero movie.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that.
Probably for the best that he's not behind that movie. And also all the negative backlash last year around his Wonder Woman script that was leaked. Just everything is a pot of wrong.
It's just a big stir it up.
Yeah, it's for the best, I think, that he's not going to be helming this movie.
Yeah, probably.
Everything about it just screamed wrong. And I can't believe that it took this long for him to not be on the project. What do you ask for, a 4-month grace period?
I think you need a little bit longer than that. And I also think that the DCECU, whatever, is in so much turmoil.
DCEU, as I like to call it.
Yes. I just think there's so much bad news coming out of there that they kind of have to, space their bad news out.
And what are you going to do? Is he going to be, doing press for this movie, then being like, so do you think you're the right guy to do it? The guy who, mentally abused his wife along with cheating on her for decades.
Probably better off than
guy?
Probably better off than Louis C.K.
I mean, he was just masturbating in front of people.
Just whipping it out.
What do you think the chances are that he makes a comeback? Second most successful stand-up of all time behind Seinfeld. What do you think the chances are he comes back?
It's going to be hard.
I don't like that choice of words.
Double entendre.
I bet he does. I bet he makes a comeback.
I bet he's so self-deprecating about it.
He already was. I mean, the guy who joked about masturbating surprisingly masturbated.
Bill Cosby never recovered, but he raped people. Allegedly.
Yeah, different scale. Also, don't say allegedly. It's fine. We're not the mainstream media. He raped people, and he's a fucking scumbag.
Which broke my heart, because I loved him growing
We don't
up.
need to deal with any kind of semantics, allegedly. No, he did it.
I think it will be hard for him. It will be difficult, I'll say. That's probably a better choice of words.
Yeah.
It'll be difficult. It'll be met maybe with some initial resistance.
I bet he makes a comeback. It'll be a few years, but I bet he does.
Yes.
If I had to throw my hat out there.
What would he call this special? Jerking around?
Speaking of specials.
Louis C.K. jerks it? No?
Speaking of specials, moving on. Just trying to bulldoze past that.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith almost died this week.
See, that's like, how do you go from that to that?
Because he was filming a comedy special, and you talked about specials.
Okay. Reasonable.
Yeah. Kevin Smith on Sunday was doing a comedy special, was going to be released on DVD. He was filming 2 shows, see what one's best, pick and choose your material, kind of combine it as one. Not all that uncommon. And after his first show, he suffered a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Which apparently comes down to genetics, like just a bum ticker from his mom and dad.
But it was also a full blockage of the Widowmaker artery.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big one.
LAD, yeah. Yes. Yeah, and basically, if he hadn't gone to the hospital when he did, he would have died.
Yeah, he's very lucky to be alive. Have you seen the unrational and unbelievably off-the-wall, terrible internet reaction to Chris Pratt tweeting that he's praying for him?
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but yes. Yeah, Chris Pratt threw out a tweet. He's like, hey, I don't know you too well, but,
I loved Clerks.
I love Clerks. You're in my prayers. Will the rest of you please pray with me? And everyone was, well, I shouldn't say everyone. A lot of people were like, prayers? You're Star-Lord. How dare you demand us give you prayers? We hope he dies. He's just asking for nice thoughts for a man. Shut the up.
Yeah, also, by the way, you can't be like, oh, Kevin Smith doesn't need prayers. God. Kevin Smith made a whole movie about God, which in the liner notes of the movie says, yeah, I was using this movie to give my interpretation and views on religion and God through piss and fart jokes.
I would never, ever, condemn someone for saying, hey, can we pass nice thoughts along to someone who has had a major medical issue? Shut up, you're the worst. Don't be that person. Doesn't matter if you believe in prayer or not. This is just saying, hey, let's have nice thoughts for someone. Do that. Don't be awful. That's basic humanity. But apparently he's fine. He put out a thing today. It's 20 minutes talking about trying to not take his shirt off and hide his penis. That's seriously what the 20 minutes is.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I watched it. It was basically that.
Okay.
They're like, we need to take some tests. And they start, take his shirt off. He's like, no! And tried to pull it down. And they're like, we need to shave your groin so we can, cut into you and put a stent up there. He's like, where is it exactly? I'll shave there and you can just pull the underwear aside.
Oh, yeah, it goes up through your groin. They use that artery. Goes right by your junk.
But yeah, if you want to watch 20 minutes of a man with, body shame issues, here's my real question, though. Are they going to use that, first show as a comedy special?
Or will it be like
Are we just going to call it Killing It with Kevin Smith?
Oh, no. All Heart with Kevin Smith.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, terrible, terrible remarks. I'm glad he's doing okay, though. Well, I am.
Yeah, but he's did you read his post, though, about, he was always afraid of death, but this experience, brought him to be closer at peace with his life? He's like, I'm not done living by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very glad to be alive, but if I were to go out, I'm at peace with what I've done.
Yeah, good on him. Last bit of news. This is kind of a biggie for me. I saved the best for last. With any comic shop, the most important thing in this world is subscriptions. Pull lists, pull boxes, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, I saw the internet thing that you tweeted about.
Yeah. Through Diamond and Comic Shop Locator. Apparently coming this spring is going to be an app called Pullbox, where you're going to be able to, through an app, digitally alter your pull list to help, keep you up to date on the things that you want, take away the things that you don't. And I am 100% all about this. If you can create a system that's about ease and simplicity, do that. There are not a lot of details out about it. There was an article released online. There's something sent out to retailers, and the information that I got is identical to what was put out to the public. I don't know if this is going to cost anything, which I noticed they didn't mention. I don't know what the timeliness around it is going to be. For me personally, when I put an order in, I have to put an order in for a book 2 months in advance. I don't know. Hopefully that will be the same standard for people using this app, because frankly, people being a week before be like, I want this book. Should have mentioned that 2 months ago.
So now with this, you're kind of no longer the middle party involved. You're just the...
I don't know if it's going to...
So I just hop on my app and I'm like, I would like this book. And I order it, and they're going to deliver it to you, and I have to go to you to pick it up?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to directly affect the ordering that I do or if I still have to have the final say because ultimately I'm the one paying for it. I imagine that I ultimately have to have the final say because, common misconception. Like, I'm buying a book. I'm doing it through the company. You're not. You're doing it through me. I'm the one who actually puts the money up front. Like, your money is going to me directly. I give the money to the company. So I don't know, but I think it's
such a terrible business model.
Yeah. But I think it could potentially be really massive. I think making an ease of, adding and subtracting from a pull list and being able to manage what you're getting ahead of time digitally, just adding an extra level of ease in there, I think there is a big potential for this to be a really massive deal. I am all about it. I think it's a great idea if done right. There are vague details out. I know a beta will be launching in the spring.
It is almost spring.
I know, but I want it to be a good idea. I really want it to work because for me, it could functionally be so effective. And not that, I don't mind adding and pulling things based on what people will send me over Facebook or email or in person or whatever. But just if you could do it from your fingertips, that would add so much ease. And if that could also potentially tell you, yeah, this is still an option, or, should have done this a little while ago, or anything like that, that's potentially great for retailers and consumers. I really hope it works right. It's a great idea if it is, to be able to do it just fully digitally. Do
you think it will also, cut down on your, back stock and, ordering things you don't necessarily need?
My orders are based on pull lists. I order the pull lists, and then some stuff on top of that. My orders are entirely structured around what I have for pulls.
Is the real money in your business?
Subscriptions are the real money.
So, pull lists?
100%.
That's where you make your money?
Yeah.
Or is
That's not, well, really...
Or is it in some, back issue stuff or some, more rare collectible stuff?
Well, there's really two levels to it. Where I make my base of... I am covering rent, I am covering utilities, is done through pull lists. If I am making profit, that is more done through the older stuff, through the more collectible items. If you're getting something on a pull list, you're probably just covering part of my electric bill. But if you're buying something beyond that, that's where I'm actually making the profit.
Dab?
No.
The way you kind of floated your hands.
No, definitely did not dab. I was just moving my hands in a way.
Kind of had a dab motion to it. I was concerned for a moment that you were trying to be hip.
What, 4 years ago?
I think dabbing was a little more recent than that, 3 years.
I'm about as relevant as Black Panther. What are those? That was stupid.
Okay, let's move on from it.
That was dumb.
That was your one problem with the movie.
It was, but I really didn't like it. Is that all the news I have?
All the news that's fit to talk about.
Fit to write down on this piece of paper?
Correct.
Yeah, I guess from there, let's move on to our now themed up Jared Sports Reports.
I love this theme.
Even though it's singular and I want it plural, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Jared Sports Reports.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
What happened this week?
Oh, the Olympics ended. I'd like to give you a tally of how well people did. Congratulations to Norway, kings and queens of the Olympics. They earned 39 medals, 14 golds, 14 silver, and 11 bronze. The United States of America came in fourth in the medal count behind Canada, who was third.
I mean, of course, they live for the Winter Olympics.
Germany,
they are the Winter
Germany
Olympics.
was second. Let's see. OAR, not the band, but Olympic athletes from Russia. They had 17 medals. Is
that minus the doping ones?
Yes, it should be. Let's see here. Liechtenstein, they had 1 bronze medal. Kazakhstan, 1 bronze medal. Latvia, 1 bronze medal. Good for them. Other countries that you might be surprised that won gold medals. There aren't really any. I mean, Austria did well. The Czech Republic. Yeah, so really we're kind of now in a lull of sports seasons. It's really just regular season NBA and NHL, and Red Sox have started spring training games. Spring's right around the corner.
So 2 major sports are happening.
2 major sports are happening, but they're kind of in their cruise control, getting ready to descend into playoffs mode. They're beginning to, if you're on a flight, we've begun our descent into, so you still, have an hour of your flight left. That's where we are.
That's our sports reports. I'm still going to call it plural. I don't care what the theme says.
Well, I reported on 2 different sports. 3, really, if you count. March Madness is right around the corner, and the main high school basketball championships are this coming weekend. 10 interesting games.
You're just filling for space now.
That's what you do. I was telling you there was more sports. I could be like the Warner Wolf of the program.
From there, since it is the end of winter, or maybe it's not, who the hell knows?
Snowmageddon on Friday. I'm calling it.
Looks fine.
That's what Mother Nature wants you to think.
We'll live.
I know we'll live.
Seeing as how it's the end of winter, and every time we talk about Batman the Animated Series, we get a nice little numbers boost. Let's talk about the most popular episode of Batman the Animated Series to wrap up the end of winter. Heart of Ice, theme song-orama. Go.
I'm the best there is at what I do. But what I do best isn't very nice.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
It's played now.
Nah.
Not that one. We don't have that theme.
Sorry.
That's the legit theme. Review it. It's not a Jared's Reading Corner, but you know, I'll pass you the ball because it's NBA time, baby.
Swish.
What the hell? Do you know how basketball works?
I do know how basketball... I was trying to make like squeaking shoe sound. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Stop everything.
Okay. So it's all on me now?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm carrying the show a little bit now?
I've passed the ball uncomfortably. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, you have goosebumps because you're so electrified by what I just did.
All right,
I elicited a visceral and emotional response.
Heart of Ice.
That's what you have right now.
I'll hit some of the
heart of ice.
I'll hit some of the main talking points.
You are a compassionless tool bag.
Generally considered, including by me, to be the greatest episode of the Batman Animated Series. It was nominated and won an Emmy for Outstanding Writing on an Animated Program. Also stands as the very first episode that Mark Hamill did within the show prior to his work as the Joker.
Wasn't it Tim Curry was the Joker before him?
Yeah, Tim Curry was the Joker and then he was fired.
Sorry, Tim. You'll always have Frankenfurter.
And it.
And the weird
Pennywise
butler.
the Clown.
And the weird butler from Clue.
Yeah. That's a fun movie.
I love Clue.
I love the alternate endings. What a fun movie.
I love the one where Mr. Green is like...
We're not talking about Clue!
Come on, the ending where Mr. Green's like, I'm going to go home and have sex with my wife.
We're not talking about Clue. We're talking about Heart of Ice. Go!
Apparently Mrs. Green doesn't have a heart of ice, but that's totally different. So, Heart of Ice is exactly about... You would think it would be Mr. Freeze.
Victor Fries.
Whatever. Victor does not fry, he freezes. Oh, I want some French fries now. Perhaps some tater tots. But
I have none to give.
Regardless. So we have the beginning of the show, and, well, there's ice and snow, and kids are playing in the ice and snow in front of the GothCorp building because it's, gasp, been robbed. And we get some nifty exposition in the beginning from Reporter Lady and kids playing in the snow in swimsuits. That kind of gives some theme that it's not really wintertime, but it's going to be wintertime anyway because, well, this guy has an ice gun. We go and we see Batman flipping some switches and playing with control panels on his Bat computer and figures out that the things that have been stolen can create a giant ice gun, which leads me to a weird conclusion and something that's interesting. Is Batman not actually maybe a villain in his own right? That he can conjure up these ideas and then just kind of allows them to happen? Like, he knew where the robbery was going to take place to get the final piece to this ice gun. And then, yeah, it still happens.
Look, that is an episode of Batman the Animated Series we haven't done yet. Also probably in the top 10. We might get there eventually, because this will eventually devolve into an animated series podcast.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole episode where it's like Batman is brought on trial, and the entire jury is just villains. And the whole idea is, like, you created all of us. We are only here because of you.
Have you seen the thing that's been kind of floating around online that Alfred is actually the greatest Batman villain? Because he can't, he knows that Bruce uses Batman to hide from the pain of his parents dying, so he pretty much is manipulated, and
he's an enabler.
He's an enabler of the but he has gathered this troop of villains to continually commit crimes and helps them get out and commit crimes, and Alfred's always able to help him solve the crimes, but it allows him to continue to be Batman because Batman could kick all of their asses and put them away forever.
The main point of this episode, and we saw this
shot down my Alfred theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the 1997 Poopster piece, Batman and Robin, instead of Masterpiece, that Mr. Freeze has a wife, Nora, who has some kind of degenerative disease that she can only survive by being put in sub-cold temperatures, and through an accident he also has...
Sub-cold? Let's try, cryogenically frozen, please.
Very cold. Uber cold.
Absolute zero.
Uber pool cold.
I had this.
We don't have Uber up here.
I went into a
Let
pool.
alone Uber pool.
I went into a pool this week. I forgot as a guy going into cool water. There's that moment of terror right when you get about just below hip high, and you start to immerse into the water. You know of which I speak, don't you?
Weird thing to bring up.
But is it not the most uncomfortable part about getting into a pool?
Anywho, so
is it not? Just say yes or no.
The story of love and romance.
Will you answer my damn question?
Don't break my glass.
I didn't
Stop smashing it down.
I know it's your last glass. You broke the other 3.
I did.
But can you answer my question, please?
No.
It's not the most uncomfortable
I'm going to leave you on an island alone.
You know, you're an asshole.
Anywho, so the story of love and romance of a man just pining after his wife that he can't fix becomes an incurable, cold-hearted monster.
Where's the part where they play diamond hockey on ice?
That's the movie.
Oh, I'm getting the two confused.
That's no bueno.
It is no bueno. It is not fuego.
Yeah. But what works about this episode so much, it's written by Paul Dini, directed by Bruce Timm, who are arguably the two
mainstays.
Most significant driving forces behind the show as a whole. And it just plays. And the actor who plays Mr. Freeze, whose name I should have looked up, I meant to do it, forgot to do it. You want to look up the name?
I got to do everything on this show.
Yeah, okay.
This is where I am 51% of the show.
The actor, name pending, he had a lot of trouble with this performance because the whole thing was supposed to be, emote less, give less of a performance, less of a performance, give a flatter read of the lines because everything is just cold and flat and it works so well and it just hits you emotionally in a big way.
Let's see. Michael Ansara?
Yep, and he's dead now. He died a couple of years ago.
Yeah, died in 2013, so 8 years ago, 5 years ago.
Good math.
Yeah, no.
You're fantastic.
But some of the lines he had, were great.
I just talk about, what would you give to feel a warm hand on a summer day?
Yes.
I would kill for that.
I am beyond emotions. They've been frozen dead in me.
I'd cry tears if there were any left to give. Stuff like that.
That's great.
The dialogue of this episode is stellar. This episode kind of for me exemplifies the all ages aspect of it. As an adult, you can feel the pain and the pathos and all, of I have a loved one that I just want to save, and the passion that he has behind it. That's what makes it so beautiful, is there are these just dull, flat reads, but those dull, flat reads give this whole emphasis of how much he actually cares for his wife. And as an adult, you really read into that. And then as a kid, there's still some kind of slapsticky moments and lighter stuff. And this is the best episode of the show. And it
was only the 14th episode of the show overall, too.
Yeah, it exemplifies everything. You can watch it as an adult, you can watch it as a child. My big sticking point is there is kind of a stupid ending to it. The resolution doesn't work for me. Spoilers, I guess we can say, because, it came out in 91, so if you haven't seen it, it's your own fault. If you haven't, go see it.
But didn't this episode, it led to a lot of retcon, too, didn't it, on the Mr. Freeze character?
Yeah, this episode, both in comics and film, this episode 100% became the new Mr. Freeze lore. But throughout this episode, because Batman is hit by the freeze gun, he gets a cold. And Alfred gives him chicken soup. And in the final confrontation, Batman beats Mr. Freeze by dumping the chicken soup on him and be like, aha, it's hot. And that's the only part where this episode falls apart. Is the resolution.
Why didn't he use the chemical that he used to thaw the guy's legs? That would have made more Batman sense.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb. It falls apart in that aspect of using the chicken soup. I love this episode. This episode is beautiful. Truly, truly beautiful. Also, dialogue, imagery, it's gorgeous.
Question, how did Batman keep that jar of chicken soup hot and roll around with it on his utility belt and not break?
Utility belt?
But then he threw it down on Mr. Freeze and it breaks immediately. But he gets punched and thrown around.
Utility belt.
Kind of like the Flash's ring?
No, why not?
Okay.
It's a great episode. I don't know. I've watched this episode many times at this point in my life. What did you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a nice little different take. You can tell it's early animated series, but the animated series never really, it stayed so consistent with its presentation and its, I don't want to say its formula. It wasn't what do they call those, the sitcoms that follow the formula that are a procedural. It's not a procedural. It definitely has different pieces. It just feels like what the animated series does so well, I think it did well in this, is it was it maintains the comic book integrity, and it feels like a live action comic book. It's not over the top like the movies were or could be. It just felt like you got your weekly book. It's your weekly pull list.
Well,
and you learn different things, and it has different arcs. And this one is a great introduction of a villain.
And one of the things that's a little bit fun about this, because clearly at the time they didn't know that Mark Hamill was going to go on to be the Joker at this point. He wasn't cast in the role. And they have Mark Hamill as the villain who was behind Mr. Freeze becoming Mr. Freeze and disrupting the experiments that he was doing on his wife to cure her whatever condition.
It was to keep her alive in a cryogenic state until they could find a cure for her condition.
Yeah, but we get multiple Star Wars references.
That's what they did to Walt Disney's head.
Yeah. There's a few Star Wars references in this, though. We
like the back of the tank.
Yeah, we see the BAFTA tank, like Mr. Freeze. He's trying to escape, and he just ends up freezing one of his own goons. And they're like, "Why would you do that?" He's like, "I don't give a f***. I'm Mr. Freeze."
He didn't say that directly. This is a kid's TV show. Yeah. You got Batman hanging upside down in an icy cave.
Yeah, I mean, we see the cave from Hoth of like Luke being upside down by the Wampa.
Which that makes zero sense for the Wampa unless he just puts his food on ice. Like it's a Wampa, it's like the refrigerator. "Oh, I just had a hard day of walking and terrorizing the little creatures of Hoth, and I want to save you for later, Luke. You're going to be a nice little Jedi snack."
Yeah, I mean, so aside from what we normally see with Batman, we also get a bunch of Star Wars, including Mark Hamill, which I thought he did a really good job. He just wasn't reading it as Mark Hamill. Like, he was throwing his voice a bit. Like, if you know it's him...
You can hear it.
You can hear it if you know that it's him, but I think if you didn't know, you might not be able to pick up on it, I guess.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have picked up on it if you didn't say anything.
Yeah, if I was like, that's Mark Hamill.
Oh, is that Mark Hamill? But when he said, "Hey, that's Mark Hamill," I'm like, oh, I can hear it.
Yeah, once it's out there. I mean, overall, this is season 1, but I think it's the best episode of the series. I love it. I think it's beautiful, except for the soup thing. But, overall, aside from one aspect, this is a pretty solid 22 minutes of story.
Yeah, I think it ties everything together. It's a great origin story. Batman shows sympathy for the villain. Oh, I can totally understand where he's coming from. He's being a total jerk, but I can understand where he's coming from.
It's a great episode. Highly recommended.
I like the Alfred, "Need tissues, sir?" And you're like, it's Batman, crying. And he's, sneezing, and he's cold, and he's sick. I love that. That's a cold line at the end. He's like, this guy ruined two people's lives. And then he's like, as he's walking out, "Have a good day, humanitarian."
What a great episode.
Mic drop. Batman out.
This show is going to be coming out on Blu-ray later this year. I highly recommend going through it in that method. This is going to be, I think, the second biggest restoration that's ever happened.
Are you getting all the Blu-rays?
100%. I already have the number 1 restoration.
Yeah.
It was Next Generation.
Oh, yes.
Look, it's over there-ish. There and there.
Oh, yes, I see it.
All 7 seasons.
But is that Blu-ray?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That is the biggest Blu-ray restoration of all time. I think this is going to be the second biggest.
Really? How does it show up in 4K on your TV?
Fantastic.
I may have to borrow some.
This is a beautiful show. And this is a beautiful show. Just talking about good shows from the 90s. Yeah, I know Star Trek started in the 80s. It's mostly in the 90s. Shut up.
It ended in 94. Started it was a 7-year run.
87?
So, yeah.
So mostly in the 90s.
The best stuff was 89, 90, 91.
Yeah, after we got past season 1 and 2. 44 episodes, and one of them is good.
The first one?
No.
Oh, you're talking about Measure of a Man.
I'm talking about Measure of a Man.
That's a very good episode.
Yeah. 44
Speaking of Star Trek, I was filtering through Swear Trek again today. There's some more great stuff.
What a great Twitter. Follow Swear Trek on Twitter. Anyway, we're moving on. Watch this damn episode. It's been around for almost 30 years, and it's amazing, and I love it to death. So moving on from there, we're going to... Good cue. You picked up on it.
Letters to the editors.
Darn tootin'.
Lot of questions, number 1. Damn few answers.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
Make it so.
Paraphrasing. Also, side note, I'm almost out of letters. So, this isn't a grown man begging, but this is a grown man begging. Please send the letters. Facebook, Twitter, email, they all work. We're almost out. I'm basically set for 1 more week after this. So, send more.
Ask us questions.
Dear God, wait, no, I lied. I'm set for 2 more weeks. Dear God, send more. 2 weeks is not a lot.
1 week away from my 100th episode.
So, not at quite the end of our mailbag, but ooh, boy, getting close.
Scrounging the bottom.
No, it's just, let's not diminish the letters.
Okay. No, I like the letters.
Given Black Panther.
Yes. The 10th smartest person in the Marvel Universe.
What underrepresented character would you like to see given their own movie?
Captain Planet.
He's a hero. something something down to 0.
He's going to take polluters down to 0.
All right, got there, thanks.
He's Earth's powers magnified.
Okay, we're not talking
and he's fighting
about...
on the planet's side. Get your shit together, Zach.
This isn't Don Cheadle.
Pew, pew.
Is that Funny or Die who put that together?
It is,
that
yeah. You're a tree, and you're a tree.
I have an answer easily.
Then please enthrall us while I think.
My go-to answer would 100% be Storm. I love the X-Men. Storm is a fascinating character. Someone who lived in Africa, who was looked upon as a goddess by the people who lived around her, someone who would bring rain and wind and all the necessary elements at the time, and then had to learn humility, and then became the leader of the X-Men, and was married to a king, and then was celebrated as a goddess again, and has had this massive, rich history. If I had to give it to anyone of, like, either, women, person of color, and even within Storm, there is definitely a big read that you could have. It's never been explicitly done, but you could 100% have either a bisexual or lesbian read into the character.
Ooh.
Based,
that's an angle I didn't think of.
If you just know, like, basically, like the Halle Berry, or I forget the girl who played her in X-Men Apocalypse, the character has never had a good film representation, but there is a rich tapestry to pull from if you were going to do a Storm character. We talked about Greg Pak earlier with
nice use of
Hulk.
That was really good phrasing. A rich tapestry.
But
wow.
I mean, there's an amazing Storm run that Greg Pak did, not including like the stuff that like Claremont did throughout the 70s and 80s. Storm is kind of a massive catch-all for so many different things for underrepresented groups, presented in a very strong and powerful way, in a character that a lot of people love. If I had to pick a character that would, and I'm not trying to like check a bunch of boxes, but if I do pick a character that I was like, oh, this is coming from an underrepresented group, I would 100% go for Storm.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm just trying to think of one myself.
That's fine.
Like a minority group, or like...
someone who's underrepresented. So, I mean, you could say women, or you could say, people of color, whether that be, Black, Asian, Muslim, like whatever. There are many answers there.
I don't know enough to like conjure up an answer.
Let's not say Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
Fair.
Bad.
Or his Shazam. Kazam, close enough. Actually, no, it's not.
One of them was an illegal downloading source. One of them wasn't.
Oh, wow. Shazam, that's...
Kazam.
Kazam
and Morpheus. We're going back, baby.
Wow. Napster.
Post-Napster, but yes.
Napster's what got it started. File sharing. I don't know. I can't really think of one. I think that you're starting to get some more of it, though, with like the TV series, though, with Marvel. I mean, you got Jessica Jones, Luke Cage.
Boo, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
No, boo.
But it's dipping into Asian culture, so just totally done.
But that's maybe also a little bit of...
Doctor Strange and the Mystic Arts.
You just mentioned two that are kind of dealing with cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I'm not, like, condoning it. I'm just, like, I'm throwing out... I'm spitballing here.
I mean, with... what could have been done instead of Iron Fist, although I greatly, in the books, appreciate Iron Fist. It could have done Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. Comparatively to Doctor Strange, there are a few other mystical characters, although that is a whole ball of wax that's kind of hard to not do cultural appropriation on. I guess if I was going to say the other side, compared to Storm, Jon Stewart Green Lantern. No, not the comedian.
Would it be a better Green Lantern movie than we already have?
Yeah, but basically...
considering the best Green Lantern movie we have was 2 minutes in Justice League.
Which does nothing, yeah. I mean, Jon Stewart Green Lantern is a black architect who follows up Hal Jordan.
Do you think that it would be wise? Like, okay, here we are. We're going to pitch this to DC. All right, listen. We need a big movie. We need an exciting movie, and we've seen what Black Panther's done. So let's flesh this out a little bit. Yeah, we made a Green Lantern movie, and I know it's probably not on our radar, but let's make a Green Lantern movie, and let's make it with Jon Stewart. And
I think that's a smart idea, because, I mean, Jon Stewart was, it was a little bit past our time, even though I went back and personally watched it as an adult. The Justice League and Justice League Unlimited TV show, their Green Lantern was Jon Stewart. So you have a whole generation of fans who are a little bit younger than us, and also ones who are a little bit older than us who read it in the books in the 70s and 80s when it was happening, who Jon Stewart is their Green Lantern. So I don't think that is a big stretch. Our age range personally is kind of a little off base for that being the one that we would have grown up with, or the one that we would have seen. Although Jon Stewart has been in the books since
But that would you could find a way to seam him into what you already have going on, and then really, you find yourself in a position where, all right, now we have Wonder Woman, we have Green Lantern, so we're starting to you're starting to develop a more rounded universe culturally.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
I'm stealing your answer for mine.
It's fine. Use Jon Stewart. Use whatever. It's all fine. There are plenty of answers out there. And the reality is yes, most of the characters out there are a bunch of 22, 30 something white men.
That's all I have.
It's what we've seen that's been a thing, but now we're starting to branch out a little bit, which is good. Serve underrepresented groups.
Expand your horizons.
Yeah, go for it. I say Storm, you say whatever is fine, I don't care.
Jon Stewart, Green Lantern.
That's a good answer.
Thank you for helping me.
We'll see what's coming. Captain Marvel's coming. I would really welcome a Miss Marvel movie, Kamala Khan. That was the first mainstream Muslim superhero. She's an Inhuman who kind of took the mantle of Miss Marvel while basically her powers are being super stretchy. But just the character, it's she is a compelling character. So it'd be all about seeing a Miss Marvel movie, which whatever we can get for representation in there. Even if you wanted to replace the Hulk with Amadeus Cho, get an Asian Hulk in there, get whatever. As long as you can tell a good story, I'm all about it. Which unfortunately comes from our own personal event. We've seen ourselves on screen many a time.
We're just so used to us.
Yeah, I'm happy to see. If you give me a good movie, I'll go watch a good movie. I'm happy to see that.
I think we've also hopefully have gotten to the point, though, and I know we haven't, but it'd be nice to get to the point. And I think I've said it before, that it shouldn't matter the character on the screen, it's the content of the story.
Ideally.
I don't care what the character looks like. I care about the story they're telling. Tell me a good story. I don't care. I just want a good story. I don't want it told well. That's all I want. When I go to the movies or read a book or anything, I want a good story told well by good characters. I don't care if the character has 3 eyes, 2 horns, and, a tail. I don't care if they're red, white, black, yellow, orange, blue, purple, green.
That's
chartreuse.
That's almost right out of the beginning of Green Lantern, Green Arrow, or hard traveling heroes who have not Jon Stewart, but you have a black man go up to Hal Jordan. He's you do a lot for the green man and the purple man, but what about the black man?
Wow.
Oh, it gets right in your face.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then they go on a road trip in a pickup truck.
No,
hard traveling heroes finding America.
You know what? Maybe I'd like to see some more X-23 stuff.
Totally. What a great character.
Young Hispanic girl, the way that they had kind of made it up in Logan. I'd like to follow her on her adventures.
Oh, yeah. Her book right now is great. It's being done by Tom Taylor. And even within that book, there is a secondary character, Gabrielle or Gabby, or her new superhero code name, Honey Badger, which is a clone of a clone. She is a clone of Laura, who is a clone of Wolverine. And they are best friends with a real Wolverine named Jonathan. It's kind of fantastic.
I'm kind of confused.
It's amazing.
No, but give me some of that.
It's a great book. It's a really strong book. Yeah, so I guess that's our answer.
There it is.
More Gabby. I really like Gabby.
More photocopy of a photocopy, please.
More Jonathan, the Wolverine.
Hi, I'm John, the new Wolverine. How's your day?
He's a legit Wolverine. He's great.
Like an animal?
Yeah, like the animal.
Oh, not like a shing Wolverine, but
No, but there's Laura, and there's a clone of Laura, Gabby, or Honey Badger, and they're
She don't care.
Yeah, she don't care, and she's best friends with a Wolverine named Jonathan.
Wow, I like it.
Comics are weird.
But you know what? Here's my question. Does it meet my criteria? Does it tell a good story with good characters?
Damn right it does.
And it does it well.
All New Wolverine's a great book.
There we go.
I guess that'll do it for this week. There's a website that exists, and it may or may not have started deleting old shows. I don't know. I haven't checked it out. Supposedly it is. So if you want to get information, editorsnotecomics.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you got the show a whole day early, patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. A minimum of $1 a month will get you our docile tones early every week.
And the Buffy back issue been a week early as well.
Yeah, for now. Well, still, for a while. Go listen to the retrospective.
Please?
Yeah, it's weird being caught up on that show, but it kind of is.
Well, you tweeted about it, you feel weird about how it's kind of in its current iteration done.
Yeah, it is. Because it kind of is, kind of caught up. I can't make up material.
You got all the way through canon.
I mean, I made a pitch and then it was shockingly close to what's coming.
Maybe they heard you.
No, they decided before I made my pitch and then they're just weirdly lined up.
I'd like to know more.
Like, shockingly close.
Tell me more. Wait, don't. Go listen to the Buffy Back Issue bin.
Yeah, my pitch compared to what actually happens are weirdly close. They are in no way correlated, but strangely close.
Good for you. Maybe you should be a comic book writer.
Well, I made a petition to the main writer on it, and if the thing happens, I'm taking credit for it.
Good for you.
I've already claimed that on the episode that's coming out this week or next week, depending if you're a Patreon subscriber.
$1 and you'll find out.
Like, if this happens, it's my, it's because of me. I'm the writer now. I'm not.
I am the captain now.
Yes, I stole a boat from Tom Hanks.
Underrated movie.
No, it's fine rated.
I like it. It was a good movie.
It's not underrated.
It doesn't get enough love.
It got a lot of praise when it came out.
Did you ever see Sully?
No, I didn't.
I want to see that. I love Tom Hanks. He's America's dad.
He was a weird kid, but yeah.
All the cool dads have one weird kid, okay?
I guess he is Colin. Colin's fine. He's done things. Orange County.
Yes.
King Kong.
Yes.
Other things. It's going to be on Drunk History this week. I saw that on Facebook.
There was a Drunk History about Mr. Rogers this week.
Yeah, that's the one with Colin Hanks.
It's out. I haven't seen it yet.
That happened tonight.
Maybe it is tonight. I don't know. I want to watch it, though.
Whatever. We're wrapping this up. You're on Twitter.
I love Mr. Rogers.
You're on Twitter. What's your
Junior Rich
handle? Okay, you've been handled.
No, I haven't. I'm just getting started.
Yeah! Whatever listeners we gained, we've lost.
More grog. What do you mean we've lost listeners?
Who the hell knows? Thanks a bunch for coming out. We'll be back next week to be talking comics.
What are we doing next week?
We're going back to the very beginning. The very beginning.
Batman versus Superman?
No, we've done that twice.
That was the very beginning of the show.
Twice was enough.
The beginning of the show or beginning of comics?
Beginning. The beginning of the superhero.
Are we going back to Action Comics #1?
Yes.
You
figured it out, yes.
We're
going to go back ourselves to an origin, I think.
I'm going to wear my underwear on the outside of my pants.
Yeah. But yeah.
Apparently that's a big thing that he did that again.
We're going back in time, baby.
His Kryptundies.
I think. Is that next week? Probably. I'm not going to double check.
We're doing a thing next week.
Possibly the origin of Superman. Possibly we're on Origins, baby!
Is that our theme for March?
No.
Spring, new beginnings.
It's a little over the place. We'll be back. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Don't get caught doing anything illegal.
Listen, live fast and...
Die hard.
No, don't die hard. Oh, that'd be a great... I love Die Hard. What a great movie. We should watch Die Hard one year for a Christmas episode and break down Die Hard.
I have enough Christmas episodes coming.
For how many Christmases?
Whatever, we'll be back. We'll be back. Easy does it. We'll just, let's end the show. It's been going on too long. See you later. Have a nice week.
Live fast. Remember who you are and what you stand for.
And die hard.
No, don't die at all.
But rate, review, and subscribe before you do.
Damn straight.